Hi everyone, so I wanted to make a quick video because I know I wrote out the directions, but I know some people are more visual learners, so hopefully this shows you kind of what I was talking about. So I just pulled up a paper of mine that I wrote, you can see in November of 2020 for school, to show you a little bit of what the formatting is. So one of the challenges is when APA 7 came out, they made a few changes. And one of the big ones is we no longer need running head. So what that means is you really only need to have a page number in the upper right or your name and page number, but you don't need to have the title on the left anymore. That's if you're doing a professional paper for, publication, you're submitting like a research article, you do need one, but for student papers, you don't. You just need a page name number on the upper right. The other thing that's important to note is even if you have a cover page like this, and I've got my name in bold of my paper, then obviously my name, the school, the professor, and the date, you still need a title that is bolded on top. So even though you have a cover page, you do still need a title here that's bolded and centered. And so you'll want to make sure that you do that. I know it's a common thing. You're so excited about just jumping in and starting, but it is really important to have that center bolded title. The other important thing is you do need to have headings. And so it's important to have these. They're great. They're a great tool. These ones actually are the 6 headings. But the APA 7, the headings are a little bit different. They're bolded. There's a different order. So make sure you look at that in your APA handbook. But the reason you use headings, even in reflection papers, discussion board posts, is they just make your life so much easier. So when I'm writing a paper, I don't know if that's helpful, but it might be. One thing that I will do is I literally will start with the headings. So if I know that my professor wants me to write a paper about, the use of cognitive behavioral therapy with adolescents, I might put a quick title, the use, it's got to be bolded. Obviously, I'd add my page number, but the use of, let's capitalize that, behavioral therapy and adolescents. And the way that I found to be really effective is I don't even start writing it. I might literally go and start putting my headings instead. So I know I'm going to have an introduction paragraph of some sort. And then I'm going to talk about like what is cognitive behavioral therapy. And then I might say, okay, I'm going to talk about what is it. And then I'm going to talk about who is it beneficial for. And it does need to be capitalized. Current research. Right, so I might literally start putting my headings, and then what I'll do is I'll go back later, and then I'll actually start putting my research, and I'll type the information and write everything out. So I find that that's really helpful. If I have a teacher that's given me an outline of what needs to be in there, I will immediately put the headers in, and then I'll fill it through, because what I find is then I don't hit the end of the paper and go, oh my goodness, I didn't include definitions of what is cognitive behavioral therapy. I just jumped in right into the section about who's it benefiting, and I missed that section. So it's really helpful to have those headings. So for example, with a research or reflection paper, if it's asking about strengths, growth, areas of improvement, and goals, those could be your headers, and I might put those in at the very beginning and then go back and write. So hopefully that's helpful for everyone. You want to make sure that you don't use writing head because you don't have to. Make sure you have a centered, bolded title, even if you have a cover page, and make sure you are using your headers. They will make your life easier. They get a little tricky, so make sure you use your APA 7 manual or use a site like Al Purdue to verify, but this is a really helpful way to write a paper. Finally, just on a side tip, things that have been really helpful for me as a student myself is a lot of times I will write out my headers and then I will take notes under each header. So if I read an article about my topic, I might put a note about Johnson et al. Nope, not bolded. Johnson et al. Noted that. And I might start putting my notes. CBT is, and I put a lot of description, and then maybe later down I'm like, oh, they also talk about the current research. So I'd put it in here. Johnson. Val. And then if I have another article, I might go, oh, okay, the article is showing Erickson and Ellis showed that CBT is helpful for. So I do that when I'm writing my papers. So then when I get to the very end and I have all my notes, all I have to do is start to reword and put everything together. It's already divided into sections. It's easy to find. I know where I got each of those facts. If I put the quote, I might actually type out the quote and then put the page number afterwards so I don't have to go back and find it later. But this is how I write my papers. So I will write all these out. I will have the headings, I'll put all the notes, and then for my final paper, I just go kind of rework everything, rewrite it, and put it all into a cohesive set of paragraphs. So I don't know if that's helpful for any of you, but it's been beneficial for me. I've tried lots of different ways to write papers and take notes over my years in school, and this has been the best. So just some thoughts. I hope this is helpful as you move forward and you write more papers. Thanks.